Speaker 1.
You probably know someone who earns a really high income and still manages to spend all of it and be in debt, right? So then you wonder, how can someone who makes so much money be so bad with money? This phenomenon is called lifestyle creep, and to illustrate the concept, let me tell you about my dad. Luckily, my mom divorced him before things could get any worse. And when was that? Right when he got his first promotion at his job. You see, a lifestyle creep is what happens to someone who, as soon as they start making more money, decides they deserve a better car, or eats more expensive food or travels on holidays more often. So this person will never, ever make enough money. They will always find a way to spend every single cent they get, and sometimes more than that. My father had already started accumulating debt back then. He recently retired from a very high position at the company he worked for, but guess what? Even though his pension is pretty good, and he had his entire life to build up his savings, he is still constantly complaining about not having enough money. I make half the money he makes and I manage to live a more comfortable life than he does, only because I don't buy unnecessary, useless things.
Speaker 2.
Some years ago, my wife and I faced a challenging time in our lives. We had bought a house, and we were happily living there for almost a year when she started having headaches every day, and developed a cough as well. After seeing a good allergist and discussing the possible causes of her illness with him, we realized the mold in the laundry room was making her sick. The worst part was that it wasn't just a matter of cleaning it. We had to call a plumbing expert who told us the house had a huge mold infiltration problem and that it would take a lot of work and money to fix it. Back then, we didn't have any spare money, so I had to take out a loan with the bank. It was very stressful for us. Soon after we paid it all off, we decided to start building an emergency fund, and today we are better prepared for this type of thing. Nobody wants anything bad to happen, but having a certain amount of money saved for emergencies certainly guarantees some peace of mind.
Speaker 3.
By far, the best money advice I could ever give to someone is the following: do not lend any money unless you are absolutely okay with never seeing that money again. Simple as that. Yeah, maybe you're thinking, wait a second, that's like giving it away, basically. Well, yes, it feels like you're giving it away, but if the people do pay you back, good. And if they don't, well, you are already psychologically prepared to accept that. Anyway, I think this is pretty important advice because lending money can completely jeopardize any relationship, with friends, family, spouses, whatever. But if your heart is in the right place, and you don't care whether you'll ever get your money back, trust me, you can lend it worry-free.
Speaker 4.
A month or so ago, I was walking in downtown San Francisco, and I realized that, for some dumb reason, I had left my debit card in my room at the hotel. But I did have some cash on me. I was feeling famished, so I was happy when I came across this taco place. I stopped and placed my order, only to find out that I couldn't actually have it. Why not? The shop didn't accept cash. What, can you believe that? So yeah, I couldn't have a taco because I didn't have my card with me. Later, I read an article saying that stores that don't accept cash have become a common thing around the country. I think it's kind of absurd. Money has ceased to be a thing you can hold in your hand, and instead has become something completely abstract. Not long ago, I used to always make sure I had some cash with me, because back then you never knew when you might need it for something. Today it is the opposite. You might be carrying a briefcase full of $100 bills, but you still need to have your card on you. Modern times, I guess.
Speaker 5.
I don't understand much about economics, but we live in a country where the government takes too much and gives back too little. And it's been like that for a while now, so it's clear that the system is not effective at all when it comes to reducing inequality. There are assistance programs designated to help the poor, but they are just not doing enough. So, from what I've heard, to use our taxes in the best way possible and have a shot at a more equal society, apparently our best option is to replace welfare for UBI, or universal basic income. This is how it works. It's universal because everyone gets the same amount of money, rich, poor, middle class, everyone. No matter whether they are working or not, if they are millionaires or if they have or don't have families, basic income would be the minimum subsidy to live on. That is to say, to have a roof over their heads, to have food and water, and so on. In the States that would be like $1,000 a month, maybe. Ubi is not only ideal for ending poverty and diminishing inequality, it would also protect us from an apocalyptic future scenario where machines do most of the labor, and we have millions of people out of jobs. In this case, machines do their work and people get their money either way thanks to Ubi. They can use it to invest in whatever they want. If they want to learn something and work in creative jobs to make some extra money, or do some good for society, they can. Yes, it sounds like a utopia, but it has been tested and apparently, according to researchers, it works just fine.